It was supposed to be a peaceful summer night, a quick getaway from the chaos of the city. June 21, 2018. Malibu Creek State Park. Families were camping, kids were laughing, and 35-year-old Tristan Beaudette was simply trying to enjoy a night under the stars with his two young daughters. No one could have predicted what would unfold in the dead of night. Around 4:30 a.m., a single gunshot shattered the silence. It came from the Beaudette tent, the one sheltering a loving father and two innocent children. Tristan had been shot in the head at point-blank range. His daughters, just 2 and 4, woke up next to his lifeless body, confused, terrified, and alone. This wasn't an isolated tragedy. In fact, it was the final act in a string of chilling, unsolved shootings that had haunted the area for over 2 years. Authorities had missed something, or someone, lurking in the shadows. Before we unravel the mystery behind this horrifying murder, make sure to subscribe to Noir Crime. We drop new videos every third day, and trust us, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Tristan Beaudette wasn't the kind of man who made enemies. He was a devoted husband, a loving father, and a brilliant scientist. At just 35, he was already making strides in cancer research at a pharmaceutical company in Orange County, California. By all accounts, Tristan was calm, compassionate, and deeply grounded in family life. He and his wife, Erica Wu, had been together since college. They had built a quiet, happy life together with their 2 daughters. On the weekend of June 21, 2018, Erica was preparing for a major medical exam. Tristan decided to take the girls on a camping trip, just the 3 of them, to give his wife uninterrupted time to study. He chose Malibu Creek State Park, about 25 miles from downtown Los Angeles, a place they had visited before. It felt safe, familiar, and surrounded by nature. That Friday night, they pitched their tent under the oaks and settled in for what Tristan thought would be a restful night with his daughters. No one, not Tristan, not the other campers, not even the park rangers, had any idea that something deadly had been lurking in those woods for years. But Tristan's decision to take his daughters camping that night, out of love and support for his wife, would become a decision that changed everything. It was just after 4:30 a.m. on June 22, 2018. The sky over Malibu Creek State Park was still dark. Most of the campground was silent, the kind of quiet you only hear in deep wilderness before dawn. Inside their tent, Tristan Beaudette lay asleep beside his 2 young daughters, who were just 2 and 4 years old. Then, out of nowhere, a single gunshot broke the silence. Tristan was struck in the head while sleeping. The shot was fired from outside the tent, a clean, direct shot. He died instantly, never even waking. Miraculously, his daughters were unharmed. They remained in the tent next to their father's body, confused and frightened, until other campers heard the sound and rushed over. The chaos that followed was both immediate and disorienting. Emergency services were called. Rangers arrived first, then police, then paramedics. But there was nothing they could do for Tristan. He was declared dead at the scene. The first reaction from authorities was confusion. Was this an accident? A robbery gone wrong? But then something chilling emerged. This wasn't the first time shots had been fired in that park. In fact, there had been dozens of reports of gunfire in and around Malibu Creek over the past 2 years. No one had taken them seriously. Until now. Now, a young father was dead. His daughters were traumatized. And the search for answers had only just begun. As investigators began digging into the circumstances surrounding Tristan Beaudette's murder, they were hit with a disturbing realization. This wasn't an isolated incident. Reports started surfacing from parkgoers and nearby residents, describing a strange pattern of gunfire that had gone unchecked for years. At least 7 prior shooting incidents had occurred in or near Malibu Creek State Park between 2016 and 2018, long before Tristan's murder. In one case, a man's car was hit while he was driving near the park. Another woman reported a bullet lodged in the side of her car after a camping trip. A father and his kids had narrowly escaped injury when shots were fired into their parked vehicle while they were still inside. Each time, the incidents were chalked up to stray hunters or kids with guns. But no arrests were made. No warnings were posted. Tristan's murder forced authorities to finally connect the dots. The community was outraged. Parents who once brought their children to the park were now terrified. Locals demanded answers. Why hadn't law enforcement acted sooner? Why weren't these earlier shootings investigated more seriously? Tristan's wife, Erica Wu, had to not only face life without her husband, but also accept that his death might have been preventable. The pressure was on the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. They knew now that this was no random killing. There was someone out there, armed, hidden, and methodical, targeting innocent people without reason or warning. The investigation shifted into overdrive. Deputies, detectives, and federal agencies swarmed Malibu Creek State Park, combing the rugged terrain inch by inch. Their mission was clear: find the shooter before another innocent life was lost. Authorities installed surveillance cameras, deployed helicopters, and conducted nighttime stakeouts deep in the woods. But the sniper, if that's what he was, had vanished. He left behind no fingerprints, no shell casings, no clues. The media dubbed the mystery gunman the Malibu Sniper. Locals were gripped by fear. People stopped visiting the park. Campgrounds once filled with laughter now sat eerily empty. Even longtime hikers avoided the trails. Tristan's death had cracked the illusion of safety wide open. Still, weeks passed with no arrest. Then came the break. On October 1, 2018, nearly 4 months after Tristan was killed, law enforcement arrested a man named Anthony Rauda, just a few miles from the site of the shooting. He was caught in the act of burglarizing a community building, armed with a rifle and dressed head to toe in dark tactical gear. But it was the rifle that changed everything. Ballistics testing would later confirm it was the same weapon used in the murder of Tristan Beaudette, and in several of the prior mysterious shootings in the area. Rauda had a history of erratic behavior, prior arrests, and survivalist tendencies. He often lived off the grid, hiding in the hills and surviving on stolen food. He had even written strange manifestos, filled with paranoia and rage. It was as if the wilderness had swallowed him, and he'd become part of its darkness. For investigators, the arrest brought relief. But it also raised a chilling question: how many more people would have died if they hadn't caught him when they did? When Anthony Rauda was finally brought to trial, the courtroom was packed, with journalists, law enforcement, and Tristan Beaudette's grieving family. After years of fear and unanswered questions, the public wanted justice. And justice, it seemed, was long overdue. Rauda faced multiple felony counts, including first-degree murder for the killing of Tristan and 10 additional counts of attempted murder related to the other shootings in Malibu Creek State Park between 2016 and 2018. Prosecutors painted a disturbing picture of a man lurking in the wilderness, armed and angry, targeting campers and passers-by with no warning or reason. The defense tried to cast doubt. They claimed Rauda was mentally unstable, possibly incapable of forming intent. They pointed to his manifestos, his erratic lifestyle, and his paranoia as signs of untreated mental illness. But the evidence was overwhelming. Ballistics matched. Surveillance footage placed him in the area. And his own writings hinted at deep resentment toward society, especially toward people enjoying peace and comfort in the outdoors. In May 2023, the jury reached a decision: guilty on all counts. Rauda was sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole. For Tristan's family, it didn't bring him back. But it gave them a measure of peace, a line of closure in a chapter defined by loss. After the sentencing, Tristan's wife, Erica Wu, stood outside the courtroom and spoke through tears. He was a beautiful father. A wonderful partner. All he did was take his daughters camping. I hope no one else has to feel what we've felt. The park eventually reopened its campgrounds, but the scars of that summer remain. For many, the woods now carry a whisper, a memory of a weekend meant for joy, shattered by a single bullet. The murder of Tristan Beaudette didn't just leave a void in his family, it changed the way people saw public spaces. For many, Malibu Creek State Park had been a place of freedom and escape. After June 22, 2018, it became a symbol of unexpected danger. In the months following the tragedy, the public demanded answers. Why weren't previous shootings investigated more aggressively? Why weren't campers warned? And how could a gunman operate undetected in a place meant to bring peace? Local officials came under pressure. Lawsuits were filed. One, brought by Erica Wu and the Beaudette family, accused authorities of negligence, pointing out that multiple incidents had occurred in the same area prior to Tristan's death, but the public was never properly alerted. The case fueled a wider conversation about transparency and public safety in state-run parks. Meanwhile, Tristan's story touched hearts across the country. He wasn't a thrill-seeker or someone living on the edge, he was a scientist, a husband, a father who simply wanted to share nature with his daughters. His death became a wake-up call. In his memory, friends and loved ones launched initiatives to support outdoor safety, mental health awareness, and victim advocacy. A scholarship fund was created in his name, helping young researchers pursue work in environmental science, the field Tristan had dedicated his life to. Malibu Creek State Park eventually reopened fully, but it carried a new presence, more patrols, added surveillance, and a quiet plaque near the site where Tristan was killed. Visitors still hike the trails and camp beneath the stars, but there's a deeper sense of vigilance now. And for those who knew him, Tristan Beaudette will always be remembered. Not just for the way he died, but for the life he lived. If Tristan's story hit you hard, don't just scroll past. Subscribe to More Crime. We upload a new case every third day, diving into real stories that deserve to be told. What happened in that campsite wasn't just tragic, it was preventable. So stay aware, stay safe, and keep watching More Crime. Let us know in the comments, could this have been stopped?